Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Soda Citizen podcast, where we're talking to people that are shaping the culture and the feeling of Columbia, South Carolina. And do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, not just because we like to see it, but also we want to keep these coming to your inbox because we've got some really cool people that are coming on here. So today we've got a really good friend of ours. We go way back, Heather McDonald, who is the executive director of the 5 Points Association. And she is really one of the people leading the charge of leading the charge for 5 Points, which is one of the coolest small villages in all of Columbia and really a vibrant scene when it comes to concerts and arts and stores and food. And it's actually a pretty big damn deal. So I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
So Heather, yay! I'm so glad you're here, and I love 5 Points. I've grown up here my whole life, and 5 Points has always been in my backyard and is one of the things I think that makes Columbia so special. So why don't you, for those people that are listening that don't know anything about 5 Points, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I call us we're the funky village, right?
Yes.
We're Columbia's original neighborhood, and we have been in existence for over 100 years. We had the centennial celebration in 2015, so we're etching on up in those years. But yeah, I mean, we are a hub for, like you said, retail. We also have services, we have restaurants, and we're right next to several universities, especially University of South Carolina. We are surrounded by some of our, most, festive and beautiful neighborhoods in Columbia. So we're positioned in a really wonderful spot, and we have, we have students, we have people of all ages, demographics, and that come down and enjoy the neighborhood. And I think that's just what makes us kind of truly special.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Going?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, we usually go back and
Oh,
forth.
do we? Is that what we're doing? Okay, sorry. Yeah, who's on
Heather's
first?
got you all nervous.
No, so Heather, help us dive in a little bit to 5 Points itself. So if you had to describe to somebody coming from out of town, I know you just did a really good kind of general overview, but what would make somebody want to kind of go to 5 Points, and what does a typical Saturday look like for somebody down there?
So we're considered a hospitality district. We do get funding from tax dollars and accommodation tax dollars. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. I'm not sure if a lot of people know that about the organization. We used to have a foundation side and we used to have the association side, but before I got there, I'm in my 4th year, they combine the two. So we are the 5 Points Foundation. We do business as the 5 Points Association. So a lot of our proceeds from St. Pat's get rotated back into the neighborhood. It also helps to fund our Clean and Safe program, which is the yellow shirts, and you'll see those in the other hospitality districts. So we kind of serve that purpose. I have a board of directors that assist me in my daily duties, and we have approximately 130 merchants, give or take, that could be part of the association. We have a minimal dues amount that people, get charged per year. And that assists with things like we have a monthly newsletter, or if we have to get sandbags in the unfortunate incident that, sometimes it rains and sometimes it floods in 5 Points. And, I work with the city. We work with CPD closely. We are in the middle of a huge security camera installation. So we've already finished phase 1. Again, St. Pat's proceeds help us to fund that, just to get some more coverage in the district that may not have necessarily been there. And we partner with CPD on that. And so they have a hub that can see all of the cameras. And so, it has some facial recognition. So it's really high tech, camera services that we have down there. So we're really excited about that. On a typical Saturday, you could get up. We have a lot of brunch spots in 5 Points. So you could do a brunch crawl if you really wanted to, and then you could pop over to Papa Jazz and pick up a record, and you could go to Turner and Moss and pick up some. She curates a lot of things from all over the place and does a lot of European trips and New York and, things like that. You can go to Little Happy. That's one of my favorite spots to go and get. She's got some fun stuff in there.
Real fun stuff
and I always tell her I have to do 3 rotations so I can kind of see everything. And that's just Saluda Avenue, and on up through Hardin Street and Santee. We've got these little arms and legs that spread out from the center of 5 Points, which is our fountain. And like I said, you can just kind of our tagline, our marketing tagline is you can find it all in 5 Points. And I truly think that you can. So, you could spend the day down there. And, that's one thing I like to tell people if you haven't been to 5 Points in a long time, or if you just go to Saluda's, or if you just go somewhere, park your car, find a parking spot, and then, walk around and just, experience 5 Point, because there's so many fun little spots and little niches and little corridors and little things that I think that, if you could really spend an afternoon and enjoy yourself down there.
I think one of the misconceptions I hear about 5 Points is it's just for college kids. It's just college bars. But that's not the case.
No,
right?
and it's been my kind of goal since I've been there at the 5 Points Association to, make all of our events family friendly, to have these, offerings. And I have friends ask me all the time, is it okay to bring my kids down there? And I'm like, yes.
Bring them.
Yeah. And so, I have, some people that come down there all the time and they're like, their kids love it. And that, they love the fountain and, all of those sort of things. So one program that we had a few years ago, which I'm trying to revamp, was Logan the Leprechaun. And so there are these bronzed little Logan statues that are throughout 5 Points. And I think we started with 6, but I'm wanting to do a couple more of those and kind of have like a scavenger hunt. So have a coloring book that kind of coincides with that. Yeah. And so just another little fun adventure for families to come down and, again, explore 5 Points.
Right.
For the people listening or people that don't go to 5 Points that often, how has it changed in the last 4 years? I think it's been pretty drastic. So what do you feel like the new feel of 5 Points, the direction it's going in?
I feel like there's been, and I hate to be so cliche, but like a renaissance. And, when I got there, there was just some things. I worked at Salty Nut Cafe when I was in college. I've attended St. Pat's and 5 Points. I love Jerry Fest. I would do the 5 After 5 concert series back in the 90s. I'm aging myself in early 2000s.
Oh, that was a great series.
Yeah. But it's just, it's always been in my heart, and I'm kind of a mama bear about the district. And, I love 5 Points so much. I think it's just a very unique spot. And I forgot what you asked me because I just went off on a tangent.
That's good. That's why I like tangents personally. But
it's the Renaissance.
Yeah.
It's changing over the last couple of years.
Yeah. I think that there's been, all of our, our merchants are very, we're small business for the most part, and they're local business owners. They're your neighbors. They're your family members. And they really throw their passion and support into the district. Yeah. So I think that's, that's a truly, you can see that in the reflection of 5 Points. And, we've been, again, trying to do a lot of beautification efforts. You're going to see a lot more. We just hired a new beautification manager. The gateway, we're trying to focus on the gateways into 5 Points. We've done the train trestle, so that's already been planted. You'll start to see all that come to fruition and grow. And so really trying to work with the neighborhoods too, because making that, really we want it to be like, oh, I'm in 5 Points right now, to kind of see those things. So we've got a lot of stuff on the horizons, and I think you'll just continue to see some positive changes. We also just completed the road diet project, which was a long time coming and took a long time.
Yes, it did.
So, that's another, beautification effort, getting people to slow down coming through 5 Points.
It's thrown me off a little bit. I go to Bar None like pretty much every Wednesday at like 4 o'clock, not 4 a.m., 4 p.m. for a happy hour. And like I'm leaving, I'm like, hold on, lanes are changing. There's a huge median now, which is beautiful, by the way. They did a good job. And hopefully when they do Millwood, they hopefully will have enough money to mimic that, not just with these ugly gray cinder blocks in the middle of the road. But
I can only hope.
But also, good things are coming. I've heard some possible more like a hotel coming in down that area, revamping some stuff that's down there.
Very excited for that, hoping that comes again to fruition here in the next couple of years. It's been, again, one of those things. It's, as much as I love 5 Points, sometimes we kind of, it takes things a little bit longer to, get through the process, but that's okay. We want it to be done right. Yes. So we've got that coming. We have a new restaurant, a high-end restaurant coming. I love oysters. So Steve Cook, who owns Saludas, is going to be opening up a new restaurant right kind of across the street. So the Pecknell building's been vacant for a while. So very excited for that to come through. So.
Can you help me buy the building to the right? Between that and Dr. Rock, old Dr. Rock is. I've been trying for like 20 years.
I know. I would love for someone to go in there and do something with that space.
Can a private citizen do eminent domain or squat in it for a couple years?
No, that's another podcast.
That's another podcast.
So you've mentioned this several times already, but again, for people that are listening, let's talk about St. Pat's.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's really...
What's coming up?
Yep.
And that's really what a lot of people associate the 5 Points district with.
So yes, it's St. Pat's season. Next Tuesday, we will be doing our band announcement. So I'm really excited. We've got some female-focused groups.
We've got female history studies major.
Keep going.
We've got some reggae. We've got some funk. We've got some Americana. We've got some bluegrass. So honestly,
which is one of the things I love about St. Pat's, because it really is. Y'all, I've grown up here my whole life, and the St. Pat's Music Festival has always featured lots of different kinds of music.
And that's the thing too, and that's what we like to say is like we kind of catch artists on the way up,
Yeah.
and then we kind of have our little nostalgia part that will
Yes,
bring
I love
bands
it.
back. You know, maybe
Uh-huh.
they've had their hiatus, and you know everyone still recognizes them or has that favorite song by that band. But yeah, so you know we curate that pretty much all year round, and it's discussions. You know, I'm listening to things or I'm watching, you know, what other festivals are doing, and kind of you know we go and we'll listen, and you know it's a very magical game of you know. Are they touring here close? Can we afford
For
them?
yeah.
Bands are very, very, very expensive.
I can only imagine.
You know, I'm like, oh, can we get so and so? And they're like, yeah, that's our whole budget plus then. So, and that's just one artist. So, you know, we have 6 stages now. So there's music throughout the day, you know, and again, I feel like we, you know, do our best to try to have something for everyone. But I think truly this year, you know, if you can't find something you like, you know, I can't help you.
Go to
All right,
Savannah.
so talk to me like I've never been to St. Pat's before. I know nothing of it. I'm moving to Columbia. I've heard about it. Like, and be braggadocious. 'Cause I think it's a lot bigger than people realize.
Yeah. Okay. So we have our official kickoff. That will be February 26th. That's when we dye the fountain green. We have at 5:30. We invite kids or whoever wants to come down and partake in the activity. We give out little samples of dye, so they kind of think they're actually doing the dyeing.
Yeah.
And it's really sweet. And we have some bagpipers that come. We do something a little different every year. We'll have a face painter there. So very family friendly, you know, kind of kick off to the season. We've already got our pole banners up around the district. And then day of, we kick off with our Get to the Green. It's a 5K, 10K, and 1 mile family fun run. And then, so newsflash on that, I haven't announced this yet publicly.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, but we are working with the city and CPD to kind of alter the route a little bit. So we are hoping to start and finish in Maxie Gregg Park.
Oh.
So that way it can like help our spectators and our participants, you know, have a more festive, you know, afterwards. It's not like, oh, get off the street because the parade has to come through.
Yeah, right.
So, and a lot of our runners and racers, you know, go down Blossom Street already. So we're hoping that this will be a more streamlined and we can do, you know, more with the race itself, maybe have some musical entertainment there as well. So that's going to be a new change for 2026. And like I mentioned, following our race, we have our parade.
Which is just a gem.
Yeah.
It is just a gem. I mean, there is everything in that
Yes,
parade.
I love it so much. A couple of years ago, I was like, I want to have all of the, you know, mascots from, you know, we had a bunch of mascots on the floats. We had Tiger come from Clemson and Cocky, and then we had Ollie the otter, and we had, you know, Converse College. Everyone came, and I remember they were coming down through the district, and I get teary-eyed. I was like, that is so sweet, because just you could see all the kids' faces lighting up. And last year we had Asia Wilson as our Grand Marshal. So working on this year's Grand Marshal, haven't got that confirmed yet.
Brad's available.
Yeah, I haven't accepted yet, but keep talking. Let's see where you go.
But yeah, we have thousands that gather along Divine Street.
It is quite a show.
It
I
is such
I
a
love
great
the parade.
Me
I
too.
really,
Rain or shine.
yeah, rain or shine,
Yeah,
the
it
whole
was
festival.
Probably our 7th or 8th year doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all do it.
Oh,
so
yeah, we love it.
appreciate y'all being in there and supporting us in that. But yeah, so that goes along Divine Street, goes through the festival, and then our festival gates open at 10 a.m. and we start rocking and rolling on all the stages around 11 a.m. and it goes until 7.
Yeah.
And we have
And
a pot
y'all they block off 5
we
points.
basically shut down 5 points. I mean, we have a huge perimeter. I mean, it's all gated in. It's a giant footprint. And then, of course, like I was saying, we have the Pot of Gold Playland, which is our little kids area. And that has kind of moved around. You know, before I got here, we've landed in Andy's Deli parking lot, and that has been super successful for us.
Yeah.
And some of our feedback that we got from some of our attendees last year was like, we need it bigger. So this is a great problem for us to have.
Right.
So we're expanding on the Pot of Gold Playland. The Green Street gate will be not there anymore because we were having to move out into the street. So we're expanding on our Pot of Gold Playland for our families and kids. So really excited about that's another little change for this year. So yeah, again, like we have food and we have drink and we have a mocktail lounge, which, you know, for those that are sober curious or, you know, just don't want to drink or the DD for the day, you know, all of those sorts of things. I think it's an important part that, you know, has been important for me to have as a component for the festival. This will be our 3rd year offering that. So we have VIP opportunities. So there's really something for everybody. I mean, it's a good time.
It's a big day.
Yeah, and it's not. We're going to do a better job of capturing this year because, you know, anyways, I like video and I just bought a bunch of GoPro stuff to use them for something. But
And it's wild to see because we've always said we wanted to do like a time lapse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
the way y'all set it up and break it down, I
Right.
mean, it is like you really have leprechauns working for you.
Yeah,
It is something to
and
behold.
it's like like by midnight or
Yeah.
11:30, 10 o'clock on that night. It's like it never
You
even
can't
happened.
even tell that
it's
it
wild.
happened. It
Yeah,
is
the street
crazy.
sweepers come through, and then 5
Mhm.
Points opens back up for whoever wants to come
That's
back
right.
out and do
And
some
keep
more.
going.
But it's, I mean, you're not making it sound small, but like it's a full on.
It's a
like,
beast. I
festival.
call it a
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it is a full on.
We have
50 food
700.
vendors?
We have 7. Yeah. Well, that's another little change that's coming too.
Mm-hmm.
But we have like 700 to 800 volunteers.
Yeah.
We truly could not do it without our volunteers. You know, over the course of the festival's history, we've donated over $1.3 million to local charities. So, you know, we have these groups that come in, and then we, you know, that's in turn for their time helping us out that day. Then we, you know, give them funds,
Mhm.
and so that's worked out wonderfully. We have groups that come back every year. A lot of times, you know, we provide the major funding for that organization for the year. So it's a very good relationship base with some groups that, you know, we've had this longstanding, you know, partnership with.
Yeah. It's such a great way to have, you know, a real community festival
Mhm.
that the community loves to participate in that also
Yeah.
benefits that
Mhm.
community. I think that's really special.
One of the things I like is I'm getting older because I was a college kid down there during
Mm-hmm.
St. Pat's, and you can have your fun as a college kid, but everybody's decently well behaved. It's not like just a big mosh pit. But as I'm getting older, there's also VIP packages
Mm-hmm.
from local restaurants and businesses that you can partake in to kind of get off the streets, use a clean bathroom, not a
Look
porta potty.
down at all of the debauchery.
I do that anyways. Like, oh, you mean like physically now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't
Yeah, well,
throwing you under the bus.
you're
But you did that yourself.
Brad, your watering hole they do a private
Yeah,
event. So,
yeah.
And so some of our merchants choose to do that. And some of them, you know, they have their busiest days of the year too, when they just have it open for anyone to come in, you know, for the festival.
Yeah.
So
So St. Pat's aside, what's some other big stuff going on in 5 Points? Is there other like festivals? You talk about Jerry Fest. Is that ever
I
going to come
love
back?
Jerry
Stuff like
Fest.
that. or-
Jerry Fest is always the first Sunday in October.
Which was August and the days between his birthday and his death. Why is it
Oh,
always in
Nerd Level
October?
3000.
You
right?
know,
I've always wanted to know.
I don't know. That date was picked before.
Okay.
I mean, you know, Jen and Don that own Loose Lucy's,
Yeah.
you know, they're kind of our mother and father for
Yes.
Jerry Fest. And, you know, that was all in place
Maybe it's
before
too
I
hot
got
in
here.
August.
Well,
Maybe.
it's also college kids come by, right? Like,
Yeah, I just didn't know
Yeah.
the days between.
we can start
are
a
in
petition.
August.
You know, put that
Okay.
on.
All
We'll
right.
start a Facebook petition.
It's probably too hot in August.
Yeah, but we just celebrated 10 years and 5 Points last year in 24. And this year we, you know, celebrated 60 years of Grateful Dead. So we had some communal art projects. You know, again, the family focus. I started a little hippie quarter.
Yeah.
So that has like, you know, that's our little kids area where they can go in tie-dye t-shirts. And we've had little bouncy houses before. One of my things is I always want to do something a little bit different every year so our events don't get stale and stagnant. Of course, we have our, you know, you're going to have your music, you're going to have this. But it's really been important for me and my staff and, you know, my St. Pat's team. We're always trying to come up with something a little bit different or something a little bit, you know, offering something that we didn't have before just to keep it a little fresh. And
Yeah.
so that's what we really try to do. But Jerry Fest I love Jerry Fest. It's like, you know, that's my peace-loving hippie heart, and you know, we get so much great feedback. You know, the festival is growing in popularity because past couple years have had people saying, you know, they've come from Virginia,
Yeah.
they've come
Oh,
from
wow.
Florida,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're getting a little bit further reach. It still remains a free festival for now, which is huge because you can't really find
I
anything
know,
free
keep it
anymore.
free.
So we're trying our best. You know, we get some help from the city and our sponsorships, so that's kind of how that helps with that. But you know, I love Jerry Fest. I think it's wonderful. And then the past 2 years, we've had Neon Joy. So that has been, you know, my kind of new thing. Again, family focused. We do a laser light show, and the merchants stay open a little bit later, those that choose to. And we're still working out the kinks with that. It's growing. I know we more than doubled our attendance this year from last year. We did it on a Friday night. We do it the night after Vista Lights.
Okay.
So, you know, if you didn't catch Vista Lights or you want to keep the party going the next day, come see us in 5 Points. But that's been really awesome. I think people weren't really expecting that come to it. They're like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be all this. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a 30-minute laser light show set to holiday music. And we've got hot cocoa and, you know, stuff at the fountain, snow, all that kind of stuff. So it's been really fun, too.
And y'all do a trick or treat.
We do trick or treat, and I love trick or treat.
I do too. It's so
Halloween's
great.
my favorite.
Well, it's so nice because like you can go in the stores it's during the daytime.
Yep.
You can trick or treat. The kids can dress up, and then it's just a real community feel too. I think.
Yeah, and
so especially for people that maybe don't feel like they have a neighborhood they can trick or treat
Right.
in.
or they want to do, kids want to
Or
double
both.
up.
Yeah, double up.
Yeah, and a lot of our, what we've been kind of pushing to is to do activation. So it's not just, trick or treating. You can go in and do different things. And that's another thing with
Yeah.
St. Pat's too, is we've been really trying to offer activations for our sponsors and stuff too. Instead of, it's great to put your logo or your name on a sign or that sort of thing, or a banner, but really just trying to like engage with our attendees too. That's what we've been really trying to encourage all of our sponsors and partners to get involved with at all of our events. So
No, it makes tons of sense.
yeah.
All right, let's pivot a little bit because you've been in Columbia a while, if not forever.
Yeah.
Full claim.
So a part of this podcast / video series is like helping people understand what Columbia's about, because obviously we're one of the top 2 move to destinations in the country and have been for a long time. And what do you feel like people need to know about just Columbia in general? I mean, I know you've got the heartbeat of 5 Points, but they're coming here, they're looking here, they threw a dart at the board and like, I'm moving to Columbia. What do they need to know?
I think one of the things that I love to say about Columbia is that, we're so central, right? I mean, you can get to my hometown, Greenville, very short amount of time.
Yeah.
You can get to Charlotte. You can get to the coast. I can get to Folly Beach, which is my favorite place in South Carolina. And you can get to Atlanta. You can get to a lot of. We're so centralized. You can get to a lot of places. I mean, I think we've got Soda City is a gem. I mean, just won that national award, and then we've also got the lake. I think that's wonderful. I had just recently discovered some of the parks, taking my dog out on walks and stuff. There's just so much I think here. I think Columbia sometimes I feel like gets a bad rap, or, we're not like so-and-so, we're not like so-and-so. And I don't think that we want to be like so-and-so. The development on the river that's coming, I think is super exciting. I hear people say that there's not good food here. I
disagree.
I disagree too.
Their asses.
I know.
I'm telling you,
I know.
I'm over it.
I used to do Soda City Sights and Bites. I won an award one time with Free Times, but I don't have enough time to do that anymore. But, I feel like I'm like, if you need a specific, genre of food that you want to, I said, I can make you a recommendation and I can tell you what to get and you're going to like it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think that it's, I think Columbia sometimes gets a bad rap, but I think if you truly engage here in the community, then there's always something to do.
Right. I've always said, if you're bored here, that's your fault.
Right.
There's something to do.
We have a wonderful zoo. Our museums are great. We just got Fenley Park. And so, the revamping of that. And I've got 2 nieces, 6 and 7. And, I was like, it's right now everything got finished. It's a little cold. And I'm like, y'all got.
Sorry.
Oh, I wasn't.
I
Sorry.
thought you were about to do it.
I will never do
You
that.
moved your hand. I was like, oh, we're doing it.
I was itching my.
Well, moms and dads over here.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Whoops.
No.
I know.
I'm about to
Just
give
tried
you
to do that.
co-host.
And I'm like, stop it.
Stop it.
I thought
Stop.
you moved your hand. I was like, okay. Sorry, my
Oh,
bad.
sorry. Please continue.
That's
from
so
our-
funny. No, but I told them, I'm like, next time when it's warmer, we can go down to the park, because I've been over there and it's,
They've
absolutely
done a great job over there.
amazing. Yeah.
And just to piggyback on that, like I was nervous that like everybody was gonna go to like the first week it was open and then nobody was gonna go. And every time I'm there, every time I drive by, like people are in the park and it just makes my heart so happy.
Yeah, it's it was always such an important part of our community, and I think that I'm really proud of what's been done. Trey, who helps me with the festival, he's helping with music over there, so he's got the pulse on that. So we're all kind of connected here, and I think that Columbia is as big as it is or as small as you think it might be. I think we are a great community, and you do. We have this small town feel, but it's not kind of small town.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of times too, and I'll see this with my my merchants. Sometimes they say like, maybe if you're a competitor, but people support each other. Even if you're a competitor. And so I think that that's just what Columbia is, and I think that that's what I get in the feel of Columbia.
Yeah, one of the things I've learned to love a lot about Columbia from focusing on other cities and states and stuff through our business is there's a lot of suburbias. There's a lot of suburbias, and there's the same chain stores, but just different parts of town. And it's just like what's next to the Targets, right? But like Columbia, actually, like watching it in the Main Street District versus the 5 Point District versus the Vine District versus the Vista versus North Main, like they're all not competing with each other because they don't have the same stuff. But yet it's small, so it's not like you're just going to the next PF Chang's across the street, right? And we have some of those. There's no knock to them. But like it's interesting how each little place has its own identity, and you can hop around, and it's not like you're trying to pull people from Main Street, because Main Street's got a whole different vibe than what you're trying to pull in the 5 Points. And it's just one of those things I think people have to like see and believe.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's another thing.
Oh,
you
you're
know.
trying to fight with Main Street now?
No. I think
Turf
that people
wars.
maybe think that we do that, like we're competitive with each other, and we truly aren't. Like in that sort of way, like you said, we've all got this different thing. You know, we meet on a pretty regular basis. We meet with the Office of Economic Development. We kind of like talk what we're, you know, what's coming up, what are we doing, what what do we need, and because we all share some of the same, you know, hardships, and you know, there's even though it may be a little bit different, there's still that continuity across all of us, and we all support each other, and I think that that's great. I mean, I just think that might be a misconception, but I mean, I don't personally feel that way. You know, I just was emailing with Abby yesterday with the Vista, so you know, we do collab with each other, we support each other, and I think that's important.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just makes a more fluid, you know, nice, vibrant area for everyone.
Right. Talk a little bit about the yellow shirts.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I'm really excited about. Because for a while, when you would go to big cities, like I remember going to Chicago and they had the blue shirts, and I was like, oh, this is so helpful.
Those were cops, actually.
No. But I think sometimes when people go to a city that they've never been to before, they're worried, like, is it safe to walk around? Like, what if I don't know where I'm going? You know, talk a little bit about the yellow shirts.
Yeah, so they serve as ambassadors for the neighborhood, you know, so they can help you, you know, if you have a question, be like, where do I find such and such, or where can I park, or they can always assist you with that. But they also are there to, you know, maintain the cleanliness of the district. They clean up. As we continue to expand on our beautification efforts, they will be doing a lot more watering and planting probably. But yeah, they serve as a, you know, they're not the police. We don't expect them to be the police. However, if something were to happen or we need police assistance, you know, they are there to kind of be that first point of contact, and they stay on site until police can get there. So they serve as a safety purpose, and again, they're there as a presence, I think, that's in the neighborhood. You know, CPD has been a little bit understaffed, as they have been for a little bit of time. You know, so that kind of serves that kind of, you know, fill in for us. And, you know, we're fully staffed right now. We have 4 full-time employees that serve as our yellow shirts, and they're great guys, and we've got a really great team going right now. Gus has been with us a little bit longer than we have. The other 3 have been there this past half end of 2025. So we've got a nice little family over in 5 Points, and I just hired a new events and marketing manager. She's been with us since October. So I've got a lot of new faces, but we've all gelled really well together, and we nice little well-oiled machine we've got going over there. But the yellow shirts are great. They're a huge part of 5 Points, and we owe a lot to them.
And I do think it really helps, you know, people from all walks of life feel like it is a safe, you know, clean space to be, no matter whether it's a Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, or Friday evening.
Yep.
So there's been a lot of beautification going on in Columbia, like the city council, they're putting all the new signs in, like welcome to Columbia. So I went out near Harbison. I was like, I mean, I know the city goes out that far, but like.
I know, I thought that.
Yeah. Why were you out that far?
Buying stuff.
Okay.
Shopping.
Buying stuff. And I think I had to run to Greenville or something, take my dog up there for a week. So how have you seen the city change in the last couple of years, and what do you hope it looks like in the next 5-10 years as a bigger picture?
Yeah, I mean, I think the development on the river is just so needed. I think that we're missing out on a lot of outdoor activities that we can do. I think the expansion of that's going to be great. You know, I really feel like the city has been, you know, and the county. I don't want to leave out the county. You know, I feel like we're all, you know, working, you know, to try to make Columbia more, you know, visible, and, you know, having, you know, these tournaments that come to town, and, you know, really trying to just put our best foot forward. You know, I do like the signage. I think that it needs a little bit of greenery around it, because I love a little greenery, you know, but I think that, you know, constantly trying to just do those kinds of things, it just makes awareness. I know that we've met with Trip Roche. I don't know if y'all have heard him about lighting up the city skyline. I don't know if y'all have heard about that. It's a project he's working on. He's with the Villatronco family, but he's talking about doing like the city skyline. So he met with our board of directors a couple of months ago. I know he's been meeting with a lot of folks around town to kind of have something like that here in Columbia. And I think, you know, we've got these such wonderful, I mean, he's young. We've got such great people that we're trying to keep our people here. They're not trying to, you know, move out of Columbia. I think that's important for us to try to maintain that, to keep those folks here, and, you know, having these bright ideas and making Columbia just even better and better all the time.
So if you had a magic wand and like money wasn't an object and you could just put anything in Columbia, anything at all, what would you bring here?
Oh, God.
You can take a minute.
For a second.
It's a big wish.
Pull them all.
You know, I'm so like boring these days. I just kind of go home and stuff. But you know, I would really love like a fun like I don't know if you could do like an inner city, but like a vineyard like would be kind of fun.
A vineyard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like maybe like, you know, kind of maybe we're like in the City Roots area or something. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I don't
You're
know.
the first one to mention a vineyard. We'll put that on the wish list.
Yeah. Like when I go home, gosh, I'm not going to think of the name of it. It's up near Pelzer's, near my dad's house. But do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
And it's so cute. I don't really like
Cityscape?
Yes. Don't particularly like their wines and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's a very fun
atmosphere.
spot. And they have like a little pig you
He
can
just
talk
passed
to.
away.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I just saw a little. They're having like they're having a little
Oh.
celebration, I guess, going away party.
Okay.
Oh, that's so
Going away party.
sad. Because his name was like
Awake?
Bacon or something.
I don't
It wasn't
know.
bacon.
No.
Pork chop. I don't know, something like that. It was-
R.I.P. pork
It was
chop.
Yeah, but they're big into the Greenville scene for sure.
But yeah, I think something like that would
Okay.
be fun. Maybe that could be on
Maybe
the
down by
on
the river.
water. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, let's just take over Owens Field. Just take up the soccer fields. That's
There
right,
would be a revolt.
Yeah.
What would you like to see, Mary Lane? What do you think's missing in Columbia?
Oh man, I would like a really fancy bubbles bar, like where you could go and like a on a rooftop but inside,
Ooh.
and they would have like bubbles, you know,
blower,
and then
like
you could
blowing
drink
bubbles?
bubbles.
That's what we need to have on our new hotel on the rooftop.
Yes.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah, and I want truffle popcorn there too.
Oh, that's very
I've
specific.
heard,
I
I've heard
love
whispers
it.
about the building on Divine Street and how there's some plans coming from that. Maybe that would be a good spot for some bubble bars.
They could have prosecco and cava and
Should we
champagne.
just do it? We should
I think y'all should do
let's
it.
Where should we do
Y'all
it?
should do it.
Where should we? If we were gonna do that, where would you do it?
Your 5 points.
Yeah, same. Because then I could walk.
Then you
home.
can walk.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All right. You heard it here first, folks.
You heard her say yes to a business idea I've had. That's awesome. This one actually might work.
Yeah.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Okay, so what would your outside of 5 points, because you know you got to play nice in that sandbox for sure. Outside of 5 points, if you were going to plan like a perfect Saturday or Sunday, if somebody was coming to Columbia and said, "What should I do? What would you? What are some things?" Because you know there's so many things they could do. What are some things you would?
Obviously, definitely Soda City. I think Soda City is just, it's like I said, it's a gym. I think that, you know, sometimes I don't buy anything, or I just go down and walk and smell, and it's so fun. And I love to see all the little buskers and like the music and stuff. And it's just really fun to see how that has grown from, you know, just a couple of blocks. And now it's like just a little monster down there every Saturday. I think that's a wonderful representation of, you know, what we have here in Columbia. And then maybe pop over to the Moxie, do a little drink on the rooftop there. And then maybe I love Black Rooster. I love the view from Black Rooster. I love what West Columbia's been doing.
Right.
They've been having such a renaissance over there as well. I think you've got a great view of the city from over there. And then I'd probably have to pop on down to 5 points for, you know, maybe an afternoon stroll, maybe do some shopping. And then I do love a Lula Drake, night. So, you know, I'm trying to show love to everybody.
That's
catch
like
a
a pretty great
catch a women's
day.
basketball game.
Right, yes.
You know, there's all kinds of things. There, like I said, there's so much to do here.
So much.
When my nieces are here, we'll go to the zoo.
Yeah.
I still haven't done the
Like gondola.
I haven't
across?
done the
I haven't
gondola
done that
yet,
either.
so I want to do that.
We should go do that.
Oh yeah, we'll do.
Y'all should do a podcast
on
from
the
there.
gondola.
Yes.
Woohoo! Taking a field trip.
All right, so going back to the original statement, if you can help me get that building next to Publico, that's where a bubbles mark can go.
Yes.
That's the if.
Okay, that's my caveat. I'm saying yes if you get that building.
No, I'm saying yes if you get
Heather, help us get the building.
So, yeah, that's our new business proposal.
Okay.
Great. I had a question. It went away because I got excited about the
Well,
building
I'm
again.
going to just bring up the elephant in the room, right? I think 5 points gets a bad rap for the flooding. But I think there's been some stuff that's been done to try to help. So I didn't know if you wanted to take this moment to address any of that.
Well, I mean, you know, 5 points, you
Is
know,
a bowl.
is a bowl, and it's built on top of water. So it just is what it is. And, you know, knock on wood, we haven't had any, you know, thing that has any storm surges that have been detrimental, and we've had any, you know, excessive flooding in quite some time, which has been lovely. You know, we try to get on top of that, ahead of it as much as possible, to get the sandbags to our folks if they need it. And then again, going back to our yellow shirts, making sure the drainages are cleaned out properly, especially if we do know a storm is coming. You know, sometimes the leaves get backed up in there. There's trash in there. So those are kind of like the smaller things that we can do outside of that. Like we're kind of at, you know, Mother Nature's mercy.
Right. But I've seen a big change in that. It
Well,
used
they
to be every
redid-
time it rained.
Yeah, MLK Park. They did a
Mm-hmm.
big expansion of like a holding pond, if you will, right?
Yep. And so I think some of the, the work from the DOT project has, kind of can steer some of that a little bit more too. So, having better runoff. And again, it is what it is
It is,
kind of. Yeah. So we just
We're not
hope-
the Charleston market, when that
No.
thing floods.
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
we don't have people in canoes.
No, we do not.
Hopefully we won't ever
Oh,
have
yes,
that.
knock on
So,
wood. Right.
but yeah, I mean, again, it is one of those things, and it honestly hasn't been much of an issue here as of late.
Right.
So
Yes.
All right. Is there anything in 5 Points you wish would come back that you like, maybe your college years or your young professional years?
I was just talking with somebody about this yesterday. Yo Burrito
Oh, Yo Burrito.
Oh,
Come back.
forgot about that one.
and the live music that Yo Burrito used to have.
Yeah, the
so
bluegrass and
good,
the-
so
yeah.
fun. I
was
loved
thinking
that.
Delaney's, but it's not really a clear memory of Delaney's, but I just remember Delaney's.
I love
They don't want you
Delaney's.
back.
I like when Trey had the White Mule.
Yeah.
The songwriter series and stuff he did. So yeah, or Pub on Santee was a stomping ground of mine. It
Have
was
y'all
one-
been into the Boyd Innovation Center?
No,
Oh
I
gosh,
haven't. Yeah.
you need to go there.
Okay.
is it?
That's
The
where the White
Boyd
Mule
Innovation
was.
Center. Yeah. If y'all haven't been in there, you need to go check that
Okay.
out.
What about
100%.
Queenan helped with that.
It's like I don't live here. What is
I
it?
know.
What is this place? Speak up.
So it's the old where the White Mule
Yeah.
was, and the old back part used to be where they had all the taxi cab
Yeah.
hub.
Yeah.
And so now that's all been blown out, and it's all for like innovators and startups, and it's a really nice, cool space. You need to go check it out.
Take a
Apparently.
field trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll help us innovate our bubble bar.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, I wish Delights would come back. Do you
Oh, no,
remember
no.
Delights?
I don't think I
'cause I think
do.
I'm the only
Yeah.
one that grew up here. So I don't want Home Team to leave.
Yes.
But Delights used to be where
Before
Home Team was,
Harper's?
and they served sparkling apple juice. And I swear that's where my love of bubbles started.
It's like a gateway drug. They
I
got you hooked.
know.
It's like
I
candy
know.
cigarettes back in the 70s.
Yeah. But it was always a treat to go to Delights. It was a delight.
It was a delight to go to
I do
Delights.
miss yesterday's.
Yeah.
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 Thank you so much, Heather, for being with us. We love you. We love 5 Points and just all the great stuff happening in the 5 Points area. If you haven't been to 5 Points, make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out St. Pat's. It's right around the corner. We'll have all the links below, all the information there.
No, I mean, I think it's just great because like when we have people like Heather that make the district so much better, it makes our jobs easier to sell houses, right? Because Mary
Love
Lane likes to
that.
say, I'm stealing her language of like people don't want to live where people don't want to live. So when you have a beacon of hospitality and tourism and shopping, like it's not that hard to sell a house. It,
Yeah.
really, it brings them and we just kind of figure out which one fits best for them. So appreciate your work you're doing. I know it's maybe thankless a lot of times, but
So
it's
thank
not
you.
from the other semi-professionals in the room.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thanks, Heather.
Thanks.